Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode. Welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories, our series of interviews where we talk to local business leaders. Today we have with us Craig Duerden from Pivotal One. So Craig, if you'd like to introduce yourself, what you do and how your businesses help the local community and your clients, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Craig Duerden. I'm from a company called Pivotal One. We're based in Ilkley in West Yorkshire. We're a team of 5 in-house and some offshore development teams. We service financial and legal lead generation. We've been operating for approximately 3 years now, and yeah, we're obviously encountering some different times at the moment, but we're also, it's challenging us, but at the same time, it's a moving feast, and we're having fun along the way, and we're very optimistic about this year, as I'm sure a lot of people are. So encouraged to tell you more about the business.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm quite excited to learn how you've managed. So obviously we were in the middle of the COVID epidemic, and I think the first question is, looking back over the last 10-12 months from realizing we were in this situation to go into lockdown, how has the outbreak specifically affected you?
Yeah, so as a business, it affected us quite significantly, actually. So previously to being based in Ilkley, we had an office, a 10-man office in Leeds city centre, where we had staff that unfortunately we had to furlough, and then we did have to let go, just because certain markets that we generate leads for just disappeared overnight, and some of the clients actually decided to streamline the business and take some marketing in-house, and really start to look at where budgets were being were being spent, and also I think just the world was kind of turned on its head, really, and we did sort of feel the effects of that. So yeah, right at the start of COVID, it definitely had a negative impact on a lot of the markets that we generate leads for. One of the main markets which was affected was pension leads, which is what we generate. At that time, obviously the economy took a massive hit, and various funds and shares and whatnot that people held pensions in took a dip. So everyone was very cautious and reluctant to sort of do anything with it. So our clients that worked in their markets, they then had to put procedures in place to obviously deal with that. The other thing was that we supply leads to a lot of call centres and a lot of sales teams, and obviously sales teams then had to move from obviously sales centres to remote working. So a fairly big logistical operation to move a sales team of potentially 50 to 100 staff to working from home and managing that. So there was kind of, where we didn't lose clients, we also saw a bit of a almost like a campaigns got paused. We knew they'd come back on, but obviously it didn't help us when campaigns are paused for 2 or 3 months and kind of sat in limbo, not knowing what we're doing. So yeah, it did affect us, definitely.
Goodness. And I can see that, as you say. I mean, it's interesting talking to different businesses in different sectors, how much or little it's affected them in different ways. So what would you say are the key adaptations you've had to make as we went into the first lockdown, and obviously you're probably still doing now?
Yeah, so the main adaptations were streamlining our business. As I say, we lost a few clients that didn't come back on board. That resulted in us furloughing staff, and then ultimately having to let some of the staff go. We had a really good team, so it's really quite hard, and a tough decision that we had to make, but one that ultimately the business needed to make. So we moved from Leeds into a smaller office in Ilkley, where we could streamline and make it more cost effective. And yeah, there was obviously, like everyone, we did a lot of remote working as well, as we're back to that now, working from home. We're doing most of our business, new business, via Zoom or Google
Great.
Meet. It's also changed our communication channels as well. Where we're all sat in an office sharing ideas, bouncing ideas back and forth, face to face. We then sort of moved across to digital platforms like Slack as a communications channel, and to also try and get that culture back into, that office culture where people kind of missing, where they're working from home, and there's not that work-life separation, and we can kind of make that more of a workplace, but almost still have that kind of office chat kind of
Yes.
thing going on. So yeah, there's quite a lot of changes, both from a business physical location, streamlining staff, communications. Yeah, it's really quite a lot happened.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm interested. You talk about communication, use of something like Slack. Has that had to change your language in any way? Because it's one thing I was taught a long time ago was that there's no tonality in text, in the written word. So it's easy to interpret a sentence in different ways. And have you found any situations where that's perhaps misinterpretations have occurred?
Yeah, I suppose because we only use Slack in-house, I suppose people know people's personalities before they go on it. So that has helped. And the use of a lot of emojis as well. The thumbs up icon, laughing icon get overused on a daily basis. But yeah, it's good. I kind of think now, how would we function as a business without it? Because where we would potentially be emailing one another, with a message, or we can put that message on a channel, and we've got a paper trail of that channel, and it could be all sorts on there that people can refer back to. So it's really, sped things up actually.
Yeah.
Really useful.
It makes a lot of sense. You say we've got that track record rather than, well, you said this or I said that. It's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it is interesting. I must admit, I was talking to a member of our team last night, and I tend to use a lot of humour in what I do, and I'd say it's dry. I don't know if that's the right word, but if it doesn't have a smiley emoji at the end, it can look like it can almost look like criticism. So
yeah, definitely.
I was saying, it's like, look, make sure we stick that emoji on the end, because it's like I don't, and even with people, clients and stuff, it's we like to make a joke, but it won't always read as a joke unless it's got a little smiley face.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Totally agree.
So obviously you've moved, you've changed, you've obviously had to downsize to start with, and obviously we're going to talk about the future later. What are the wins that you'd say have come out of the last 12 months?
Yeah, so the wins are obviously when we lost certain business and campaigns got on pause. I suppose it's one of them. You can get kind of a negative mindset, if you will, and think when the thing's going to turn up, and just rest on your laurels and sit around moping about. But luckily there's myself and the other two directors saw it as a bit of an opportunity where, if we were to advertise for that our services, and that we can generate leads in various markets online, and almost do what we do for clients and take that to them, to put it in front of our clients. The clients that we get on board who are looking for leads should be in a very strong position as a business, because they're not at risk, or they don't see themselves at risk if they still have a marketing budget that they're interested in generating business. So we actually saw that as an opportunity. We discussed it and thought, let's set aside a bit of a budget. Let's see if we can do some inbound marketing, lead generation for ourselves. And we couldn't believe the leads that were coming in. I think we estimated we might get a couple of inquiries a month, because it's at the time that it was at, and we thought, if we get a couple of really good inquiries a month, then that would do. We were getting 2 a day, and these were really high quality leads as well. So it pretty much transformed our business overnight. We were kind of looking almost. We're also looking at our old clients and thinking, hang on, are we doing the right thing with this client? this is they would operate in the same sector. We're only supplying X amount of leads here. This company want to take the other portion of them. We can put another one in that space. So it's and it's also opened our eyes up to a lot of industries that also require leads as well. We've had inquiries for people looking for leads for things like cybersecurity, telecoms, in areas that we've not necessarily been focused on in the past. Like I say, it's been mainly legal and financial services, but we've had home improvements, all sorts really. So yeah, that has been a massive positive for us, and really quite it's quite a game changer, to be honest with you, that campaign. Yeah.
It really is incredible when, talking to businesses like yours that if you take the fact of the situation at the start, you had to downsize quite considerably. And when I speak to some people, you quite often wouldn't blame people if they just sort of sat with their head in their hands for weeks and even months. But people like yourself, and we've spoken to other people, just go, no, okay, how can we do this? What's the way forward? And it's just great. It's just great to hear. So I wish you made quite a lot of adjustments on how you work. What if any, are you going to keep doing when we get back to whatever a new normal looks like?
Yeah, so we're still keeping the inbound marketing going for obvious reasons, just generate new business. That started off well this year. We're actually seeing, a lot of other businesses who are getting in touch, who are a lot more of a positive mindset as well. And, they're encouraged that things will change this year, which is good. Nice to see. The things that will keep the same. Previously, we used to do a lot of face-to-face meetings. We have clients nationally, really, a lot of Northwest based, but we do a lot of traveling to, we've traveled to London in the past for a day or two, or we might have gone to, Manchester and done, say, 5 clients in a day, for example. And it can be really kind of time consuming to go and see these clients, and then, for an initial meeting, then a follow-up meeting, proposal presented, do a trial. We always do a trial of how many leads, just so each party gets a taste of the leads, and then we have a follow-up meeting after that. So all in all, the time spent, man hours, the petrol, mileage, you start to add it up and think, what, as much as I like the face-to-face, because I do like to, that, to build that rapport with someone, I have to kind of then sort of offset it with, having these kind of Zoom or digital meetings where I think, we've just turned some new got some new business in 1 or 2 meetings, like a 2-hour phone call, effectively. So that's something that we definitely will keep in place. We've just picked up a contract actually with a company out in Israel. So that in itself, that would never have happened if we hadn't have been able to do this sort of thing. I'm not saying we wouldn't have gone over to Israel to see them, but it's a fairly big investment for set up a trial order of 50 leads. So it's it's really, really interesting, and that's something that we definitely will look to implement moving forward, is the digital kind of online face-to-face, if you will, and certainly the communications as well, which I touched on earlier. And the online inbound marketing will carry on with that too.
Brilliant. No, it makes perfect sense. And I've talked to a few people about this, and from our perspective as well, is that if you break the sales process into a number of steps, I feel that while we're possibly going to work together, it makes sense that we have Zoom, because it's like we don't know yet. So let's do that. But when we move to the probably work together, but we want to see the whites of each other's eyes or whatever, then when we can, it makes sense to have a meeting. But the meeting is there to do the deal rather than see if it might, there's interest. And when you start to do that, the leverage of time that we get from, the amount of time we can avoid spending in our car is quite significant, isn't it? If you can drop most of the meetings onto Zoom.
Absolutely. I think previously I ran a design agency, and a business partner had a pay-per-click paid advertising agency, and that's where kind of Pivotal One was formed, really, amalgamating the two skill sets. And one of the key things that myself, business partner and myself, had was qualifying clients, and you can really do a lot of wasted time in going to them meetings, and you find out when you get there that it's just they've just been dangling a carrot, or they're not too serious. Where really you can qualify them really quite quickly with a quick face to face on Zoom, and no, like I say, no mileage, petrol, time, man hours wasted. It's really good for that, definitely. But as I say, there's a time and place to meet up, and I am looking forward to getting out and meeting clients again, and it'd be good.
I was saying to somebody this morning that we, like you, we've taken on quite a lot of clients over the lockdown period. So we've not met. There's only a small fraction we've met. And I remember meeting one in the summer, and it was obviously a function of how close he was to the screen, because I just said to him, you're way bigger in real life. I thought you were small because I think he sat quite far back, and it was really funny. But he's a big lad. He's 6 something and quite well built, but it looks tiny on the screen. So looking at what you've done, is there, and with the wonders of hindsight, which obviously aren't really much use at all, but in hindsight, is there anything you would have done sooner of the changes that you made?
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely would have done our own inbound marketing sooner. That is, looking back, we should have done that. We're probably reliant on a handful of clients really that were our core clients, and when things got shook up, that definitely left us in a bit of a vulnerable position. So I think having more clients on board, and I suppose playing more of a numbers game, if you will, and having that rather than just looking a bit threadbare with a couple of key clients, that definitely wasn't the best way to kind of run a business. But saying that, we're probably only 18 months to 2 years in, so we probably hadn't got that amount of clients yet, and also we didn't know that we could generate that amount of clients online. So I suppose it forced our hands, if you will, and I suppose it took a chance, and luckily it paid off for us. But looking back in hindsight, definitely would have started the inbound things sooner. In terms of the communication, I still like to see people at that time. That was great, so I probably wouldn't have changed that. And the office in Leeds and the people we had working for us. Listen, if I could wave a magic wand, I'd still have the team that we had then. It was a really good team that we had, and the work that we had. So I think just the inbound marketing really would be a thing, and just other streamlining here and there as well. That's probably something else that we probably would have done.
It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I think most of us would do this. We cling on, we keep on to the things that we believe are going to work, but it's just I think what took most people, including me, by surprise was just that this whole thing was real. Absolutely. Before Christmas, it felt like something that was happening in Asia, as had happened 2 or 3 times before over the last 10 years, and then realizing all of a sudden it was coming here, and it was here, and we have to deal with it. So,
and I think the length of time it actually went on for as well. I think when it first come about, the majority of us probably thought, maybe a couple of months, 3 months at the most, and we were through this and business as usual. And I do say this to people. I think we're very fortunate. If someone has his business going, we did take a hit. But at the same time, we're still here as a business, and we're still making money. So I feel very lucky in that respect. There's other industries have been hit, very hard, and I haven't been able to put the strategies in that we've been able to as an online agency, if you will. But I think the length of time it's gone on for and the stop-start has been tricky for everyone, really.
It's been tough, hasn't it? And speaking of which, what's your reaction to this third lockdown that we've gone into?
Yeah, it's not affected the campaigns which we've got running at the moment. Saying that, I tell a lie. It has affected one campaign massively. So one of the campaigns, which are a new campaign since our online marketing, is a payment card terminal campaign, so generating leads for people who are going to accept payments via card terminals.
Right.
So be that cafes, restaurants, gyms, salons,
Yep.
etc. So that campaign is actually flourishing in a way, because obviously cash is almost obsolete at the moment. So everyone needs a method of payment, which avoids any contact. So that campaign is flying, but at the same time, there's those leads that we're supplying to a client are not necessarily converting for the client because they don't know when they're opening again. So it's like, well, this, we've got the solution for you, but can you give us a few months until we come out of this lockdown and know where we are, and then when we open again, we'll be in touch. So that kind of leaves us in a little bit of limbo, and them in a little bit of limbo of whether it's a solid campaign or not. So yeah,
fascinating. I can totally get that. And just you look at yourself and your life is that everything is card now, isn't it? I mean, I don't, pay. It'd be interesting to look at the statements, because obviously what was probably, let's say, a page of transactions is probably 5 pages now, because it's £2.30 for a sandwich, and it's all going on the card. It's quite incredible. So looking forward, and hopefully early this year, we'll get back to something like a new normal. What sort of things, some of the things you're looking forward to?
I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to is getting back into the office with a team. I think that's what I've missed the most. I think that's what a lot of other companies have missed out the most. I'm very much a people person. I like meeting people. So that would be that clients or having that your work office kind of chat and banter and things. I do crave that. And I think that's been a difficulty for myself, is kind of locking yourself in a room. This year 7 months ago we've had our second child, so having to so we got two young boys. So one is 2.5 and the other is 7-month-old. So obviously trying to work from home while that's going on, it's quite a challenge. So that's not me saying that I'm looking to go to the office to escape, by the way. but it is, no, but it's important I think for me and for a lot of people to kind of separate that work and home life, and I'm looking to kind of separate in that home chat to like office kind of like I say, get camaraderie and seeing clients again face to face. That's nice. Actually getting in a car and driving somewhere, although I was saying Ollie earlier, it's a nice thing not to do that equally at the same time. Obviously it would be a bit of a treat to venture out. So yeah, kind of looking forward to getting in with the rest of the team. I think that's the most exciting bit, and bit of normality, just having a bit of a brainstorm and bouncing ideas back and forth with one another in person as well, talking about the weekend's footy or something like that. Just it kind of gets missed when you set up a meeting maybe for the team on a Monday morning or midweek, and you kind of you have an agenda and you're covering the basics, and it's all, and then there isn't any, almost seems like there isn't time made for that kind of stuff on the chat. So yeah, I do miss that really.
It's funny actually. Yeah, the way you say that, I agree. The benefit of Zoom is it keeps the discussions really focused.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the challenge of Zoom is it keeps the discussions really focused, and there's no there isn't any of that. Yeah, I agree, and it's a bit tough, isn't it? Because that whole social interaction is important, even in the middle of a team meeting and stuff. Just the back and forth, which this doesn't really as easily lend itself to, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. And I think in the industry that we're in, so it's a mix of creative and marketing. It's important that we bounce ideas off one another. Yeah. And when you're in a meeting, in the office, we might get out a, whether it be a sketch pad or just have a little chat with a brew, just saying, what do we think about this campaign? A bit of lateral thinking, why might someone click on this advert? Why might someone press on this button? You're kind of working in isolation and then presenting them ideas as one. to another person in the team.
Yeah.
But in reality, if that was previous to COVID and working in a group, you kind of bouncing the ideas off people before you even arrived at that end result. So you kind of and what I might say as well, an initial idea might set off someone else's thought process. So you can arrive at a solution, and usually a better solution, a lot quicker. With everyone's ideas in there, whereas kind of you're presenting your ideas and your thought process to everyone and going, here's what I've come up with. Yeah. Could you feed back to me? So yeah, it's I miss that. Certainly from a creative background, I miss that feedback and brainstorming and bouncing ideas off people.
I can imagine. I can really imagine it. It is. There are some things that are quite difficult to do that when you're not together, aren't they?
Yeah.
So obviously we've had some great wins. I mean, it's amazing what you've achieved. What looking forward now? What if any are any of the challenges you can see on the horizon?
Challenges on the horizon. Let me have a think. Hopefully, there's not many more challenges bigger than what we've obviously just overcome.
I hope so.
I'd like to think so. I think it's just getting more clients on board. I think scaling as a business, that'll be a tricky one, because obviously you kind of a little bit more cautious now. So let's say that we're looking to employ more staff, who are bringing in new business. Yep. Then do we warrant a bigger office then? But then at the same time, if something else hits us, we're then taking up a lease on a new office. That then we then have to scale back, or staff let go again. And I suppose that's a challenge. But as I said at the start of this conversation, I suppose it's one of them. If you're always looking at the negatives of it and thinking, what if this happens, what if this, you're never going to move forward with it. So I think, our mindset has definitely got to be, we've come through the worst of it. Let's just plan that things are just going to keep getting better and better. And if we keep winning new business, that may mean you're taking more people on. And then you're obviously ramping up the sales side, and obviously like some more more things that we can do in-house to refine and optimize people's campaigns as well.
Brilliant. Okay, so and I'm always interested to know what you might have learned about yourself over the last year.
I suppose I mentioned it before. I've learned that it's a struggle when I'm working on my own, in terms of like I am a people person. At the same time, when I started out in business, I was working just in my bedroom on my own. So I'd done it before, but it also seemed like it was a bit of a step back to them days, and that sometimes as well mentally can drive you a bit insane. But I think it's shown that obviously we can. Self and business partners included, you're kind of resilient, I suppose. We had the discipline as well to work from home. Showing us that we can, have enough, I suppose, confidence in ourselves to put ourselves out there. And also, I think the other thing aside from work is doing for me, I need to keep active. So that might be getting something in the day, whether that be physical exercise or doing that a few times a week, just to break up that I've been in the house all day and I've not moved and not done anything. So it's made me kind of get my day more structured, I think, as well, and more organized, and it's like, this is my time to do this. This is my time to work. This is my time now with family and children. And the family and children, obviously working from home, might encroach on the work side, as they do, but everyone's in that position. And as we spoke a little bit before, Chris, when you're getting, the kids running into a room while you're on a call, it's kind of just makes it a bit more human and a bit more natural. So I think people at first were a bit like, quick, shut the door, but now it's almost seen as, well, actually there's a person behind that company, and I kind of think they're more personable for seeing that side to them. So that side's been good.
I bang on. It's funny, this situation, because the remoteness has been a little bit dehumanizing. It sort of pulled us apart, but the seeing into people's lives has made us more human. Being comfortable with, oh, it's great to meet your family. I've never met your family, and probably people that I would never, I would be unlikely to meet their family. I'm meeting, and it's nice. It's lovely. It's brilliant. Well, Craig, that's been absolutely wonderful. Just sort of to wrap up, what in a few sort of words of key content, what does the future look like for yourself and Pivotal One?
I'm, fingers crossed, and for 2021, hopefully it looks really, really positive. We're encouraged by the start that we've had. More business, hopefully, a few more team members to add to the ranks, and hopefully onwards and upwards from here. Brilliant.
Well, I speaking to you for a little while that we have, I don't think you need to cross them too hard. I think you've got what it takes. So it's
thank you.
You've achieved a lot, and through a level of adversity, because you've had to downsize, you've had to move, you've had to change and grow, and well done. So I think that's wonderful. So thank you so much for your time today. It's great to speak to you, and it'd be great maybe to come back in 6-12 months time and see what the next stage of your development has been. Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it, Chris. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, and I've enjoyed it. Thank you. Cheers. Brilliant. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.